Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon. Today, we from Group 6 will present our research project regarding ASEAN. Our group consists of 6 group members: Amira Atira, Arisa Kairim, Nawa Inshira, Natasha Rajan, Ruin Afrina, and Nur Shamilia. The presentation outline regarding our research project consists of introduction of ASEAN, history of ASEAN, roles and function, achievement, critics, recommendation, and conclusion. I will start this presentation with a little introductions about ASEAN. ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, is a regional organization with the 10 member countries of Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam working together to improve economic and security cooperation. A total of 662 million people call the ASEAN countries home, and their combined GDP is $3.2 trillion. The group participates in the negotiations to create the largest free trade agreement in the world and signed 6 free trade agreements with other regional nations, playing a crucial role in Asian economic and integrations. I will pass it to the next presenter to talk briefly about history of ASEAN.
My name is Amira Atira and I will now present about the history of ASEAN. ASEAN was founded on the 8th of August in the year 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand by its founding fathers. The founding fathers of ASEAN are these foreign ministers: Adam Malik of Indonesia, Narciso R. Ramos of the Philippines, Tun Abdul Razak of Malaysia, S. Rajaratnam of Singapore, and Tan Koman of Thailand. All 5 of them signed a document called the ASEAN Declaration, and from there ASEAN was built. The ASEAN Declaration contained only 5 articles which declared the establishment of an association for regional cooperation among the countries of Southeast Asia that will be known as the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which is ASEAN. It also spelled out the aims and purposes of ASEAN, which are about cooperation in the economic, social, cultural, technical, educational, and more industries. It stated that the association would be open for participation by all states in the Southeast Asian region, subscribing to its aim, principles, and purposes. It proclaimed ASEAN as representing the collective will of the nations of Southeast Asia to bind themselves together in friendship and cooperation, and through joint efforts and sacrifices, secure for their people and for posterity the blessings of peace, freedom, and prosperity. Tan Koman of Thailand was the protagonist in the process of creating ASEAN, and he played a really big role by inviting the countries to join him in his idea. Tan Koman stated that at the banquet, marking the reconciliation between the Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia, he broached the idea of forming another organization for regional cooperation with Adam Malik. Malik agreed without hesitation, but asked for time to talk with his government and also to normalize relations with Malaysia now that the confrontation was over. In the speech after signing the ASEAN Declaration, Adam Malik stated that Indonesia had a vision of Southeast Asia developing into a region that can stand on its own feet and is able to defend itself against any negative outside influence. The speeches then continued to other foreign ministers. What was highlighted is that while the nations of Southeast Asia prevents attempts to deprive them of their freedom and sovereignty, they must first free themselves from ignorance, disease, and hunger in their own countries. Each of these nations cannot accomplish all of these goals alone, hence they must join and cooperate together with those who have the same aspirations and goals to ensure that these objectives became easier to attain. It was only 14 months since Tan Koman brought up the ASEAN idea in his conversations with his Malaysian and Indonesian colleagues. In about 3 more weeks from that time, Indonesia would fully restore diplomatic relations with Malaysia, and soon after that with Singapore. That was by no means the end to intra-ASEAN disputes, as the Philippines and Malaysia would have a falling out on the issue of sovereignty over Sabah. Many disputes between ASEAN countries persist until today. However, all member countries are deeply committed to resolving their differences through peaceful means and in the spirit of mutual accommodation. Every dispute will have its proper season, but it will not be allowed to get in the way of the task and the goal at hand. And at that time, the essential task was to lay the framework of regional dialogue and cooperation. The original ASEAN logo showed 5 brown sheaves of rice stalks, one for each founding member. Beneath the sheaves is the legend ASEAN in blue. These are set on the field of yellow encircled by a blue border. Brown stands for strength and stability, yellow for prosperity, and blue for the spirit of cordiality in which ASEAN affairs are conducted. When ASEAN celebrated its 30th anniversary in 1997, the sheaves on the logo had increased to 10, representing all the 10 countries of Southeast Asia and reflecting the colors of the flags for all of them. In a very real sense, ASEAN and Southeast Asia would then be one and the same, just as the founding fathers had envisioned when they planned to create ASEAN. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello, my name is Nur Afrina, so I will continue for the next part, which is the role and function of ASEAN. So the first one is to accelerate regional economic growth, social progress, and cultural development through collaborative efforts in the spirit of equality and partnership in order to strengthen the foundation for a prosperous and peaceful Southeast Asian community. The next one is to promote regional peace and stability by upholding justice and the rule of law in the region's relationships and complying to the principles of the United Nations Charter. Next is to encourage active collaboration and mutual assistance in the areas of common interest like economics, social, cultural, technical, scientific, and administrative fields. ASEAN also aims to provide mutual assistance in terms of training and research facilities in professional, educational, technical, and administrative spheres. ASEAN also aims to collaborate more effectively to encourage further growth in agriculture and industry and trade sectors, which also include improving transportations, communication facilities, and conducting studies on international commodity trade with overarching goal of raising the living standards of the Asian people and also to promote Southeast Asian studies. Last but not least is to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with the existing international and regional organizations that have similar aims and purposes and to investigate all possibilities for an even closer cooperation among themselves. So that's all for me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Natasha Rajan and I will explain about the achievement of ASEAN. The first achievement of ASEAN is ASEAN has created Asian Regional Forum (ARF) in 1994 with 27 countries in it now. ARF provides the platform for all the members to address the current security problems and created collaborative action to improve safety and peace in the area. The most recent ARF meeting were held on August 5, 2022 in Cambodia. There are some topics that are being discussed, such as counterterrorism, cybersecurity, the conflict in Myanmar, and others. The next achievement of ASEAN is ASEAN has signed off the Asian Free Trade Agreement (AFTA) in 1992. The creation of AFTA were inspired by the North American Free Trade Area, NAFTA, and also the growth of European Union, EU. AFTA were created to improve the intra-ASEAN connection, includes creating strong and competitive small and medium firms. The Common Effective Preferential Tariff (CEPT) was established to strengthen the region's competitive advantage as a production base for the international market, which one of the goals of the AFTA. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
So for the next part, I'll present about critics of ASEAN. ASEAN has faced criticism for its emphasis on reaching agreements to resolve conflicts and for upholding the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of another member countries. In a sense, each of the founding members of ASEAN decided that the organization would be based on the principle of non-interference, which states that no member country will interfere with the internal affairs of another member country. According to some experts, this has resulted in inefficiency. Politics of the lowest common denominator have a tendency to win out, and challenging issues have been avoided rather than confronted. The principle forbade even mild criticism of a neighboring nation. And the next one, the danger posed by the flood of inexpensive imports that have flooded local level markets, and the existence of unsatisfactory administrative structures in some member countries are the weaknesses of ASEAN. The Asian Economic Community has drawn criticism for failing to protect medium-sized and small businesses, and for being reluctant to advance democracy and human rights in countries such as Myanmar, for example. That's all from me. I'll pass to the next presenter.
Okay, hi, my name is Nurisha Media, and I'll be explaining the recommendation of ASEAN. Okay, the first one is to assure team cooperation. So the basic principle for the ASEAN community is effective cooperation among its member countries. So ASEAN needs to do various efforts and carry out continuous program in the region, so which can contribute to the closer integration of the bloc. ASEAN government has decided to establish the ASEAN COVID-19 Response Fund, the ASEAN Regional Medical Reserve, and the last one is ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework and its implementation plan, or we call it as ACRF. So all the efforts and collaboration by ASEAN can assist member countries to cope with the COVID-19 issue in their country to some extent. And the next one is harmonization of regulation. So ASEAN member countries must harmonize rules in order to increase the trade performance in the Southeast Asian area. So the formation of the ASEAN Smooth Trade Facilitation, indicated by ERIE, in collaboration with the ASEAN the Trade Facilitation Joint Consultation Committee, is an essential effort that can explain the execution of different trade facilitation initiatives. So this initiative aims to create seamless trade facilities in order to establish an ASEAN economic community that promotes competitiveness and also good governance. So that's all from us. Thank you.
ASEAN has certainly made significant progress in Southeast Asia's stability, security, and prosperity during the past 40 years. The ASEAN Way has proven effective in encouraging regional economic growth and cooperation. In the name of ASEAN unity, the countries of Southeast Asia were able to put their long-standing rivalry behind them. They have also taken the initiative to establish the ASEAN Regional Forum, which will bring together all of their Asia-Pacific neighbors for the first time and provide formal discussion on a variety of security-related topics affecting Asia. In conclusion, ASEAN has demonstrated through all the ministerial meetings, communities, and conferences that it is still relevant to the stability, security, and prosperity of Southeast Asia. The willingness of the EU and the Asia-Pacific nations to work with ASEAN is a testimonial to an acknowledgement of ASEAN's accomplishment. It does not only serve as an addition to the United States' responsibility in maintaining a balance of power. In fact, ASEAN plays a crucial role in the development of the area. And that is all from us. Thank you.